to see from New England Saturday night?
Yeah, I mean, we reflect back. We're happy with the week as a whole. I thought, obviously getting 7 points has put us in a position to striking distance of the playoffs. I thought the opportunity for a lot of players to make an impact across the board for a 3-game week showed that the whole group is committed and collective to our goal. And the challenge is to repeat and do it again. So, which is a great opportunity for, again, everybody's going to get called on over this 3-game period. Specifically to New England, it's probably a result that they weren't happy with, but it's a very experienced team. It's well coached with some really top-end talent in this league, a team that we will not take lightly. We had the opportunity to play them a couple weeks past in Leagues Cup. So someone that we're going to go up. We have a lot of respect for them, but we also know that we need to get a result to keep our playoff hopes alive. So, I fully expect that we'll have a team that's energized and ready to compete.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with Ben.
Yeah, you kind of just touched on New England. Just looking at their result last weekend, I think probably the lazy narrative is that they're just a team in bad form, and just looking at form, you guys should get a result. But you mentioned just the players they have. You need from Caleb Porter, just his experience in MLS. What are you expecting from them? Probably looking for a bounce back, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Caleb's track record speaks for itself. He's a championship-winning coach in this league. So one result on the weekend is not going to define the rest of their season. Then you combine that with sort of the level of experience and professionalism that you see from their team. They have got a lot of veteran players that have been through long seasons. So I expect a group that's going to come back out and be ready to, I guess, kind of perform and prove that result was sort of, not who they are, not their identity. And then they have individual high-quality players as well that can make plays. So it's not a team that we're going to take lightly. It's a team that we're expecting we're going to get their best punch. They're back at home, and we know, again, winning on the road in this league is very difficult, so it's going to take our best effort.
Good. And then I don't think I've asked this before, but just what's the difference playing on turf? I know you've played on it a couple of times, but does it have an impact just, first of all, in kind of your game plan, but also with a couple of games in a week? Does it impact selection and recovery or anything, or do you feel like it's pretty straightforward?
Yeah, I would say for us, I mean, it's a surface that we don't train on often, we don't play on often, so it's just there's a sense of familiarization. No matter what type of turf you play on, it moves a little bit different, the ball bounces a little bit different, so there is a period that you have to kind of adapt to. I don't think the change is massive. I do think you see players that it does bring out some maybe chronic stuff, playing on turf. So that's something that we'll have to manage as we play on it on the, like you said, the first game of a 3-game week. We're going to have to sort of make sure we, talk to the guys, see how they feel, especially coming out of that game. But I don't think it'll really hinder our preparation, I would say, going into the game. It's much more kind of coming out of that first game that you worry about with the turf.
Vijay, the fact that you were able to start 5 different guys in the last game and they perform well, as a coach, in your own work, how much confidence does it give you in terms of what you're doing, knowing that you could have 5 today and 5 different ones, even for New England, and you expect the same results or the same performance?
Yeah, I look at it twofold. You can't be more proud of the guys, right? They come in, they train hard every day, they're getting the same information, they're able to apply it, and then when they get their number called, they're able to sort of perform. That shows, I think, it's a testament to sort of the group that we have, the training environment that's created here, the daily environment that's created here, that they're all engaged and they're all ready and they're hungry to play. So that's great. It adds great competition to the group, so that keeps the standards really high. Everybody knows that we're competing and we're going to put the best 11 out each night that we can. And I think that's a great motivator when you're chasing the playoffs. That we have a squad that we feel confident in. We have a squad that we feel like we can go deep into the player group to get very similar performances. And again, the competition brings out the best of these guys.
Now, of course, you played the second place in the conference, one of the best teams in the league the whole year, like Cincinnati. And now you, like Ben just stated, you're playing one team that maybe has got one of the rough seasons ever in New England. But how much difference there is in terms of how you need, especially for the players, not being confident in terms of looking at the table and looking at the places this team, and also looking at New England allowed 60 goals in this season. How do you manage that so the players don't get distracted by those little things and then just face the game as it is?
Our message has been the same. When I say we don't look at the opponent, we analyze the opponent to come up with the game plan. But where they are in the table, who it is, we don't have to get any more motivated or become less motivated. Our goal is to make the playoffs, and right now we know exactly what it takes to get there. It's very clear. And the next opponent that we have to compete against to achieve our goal is New England, and we know for us to achieve that, to earn 3 points, the standard that we have to play. So regardless of where a team is on the table, the form that they're in, we know that we have to play to a really high standard to earn 3 points in this league, and that's our objective, when we play New England on Saturday.
Valer on Zoom.
Hey, BJ. I know the process doesn't change whether you win or lose, because you guys, you've said many times that you're doing the same thing. But I'm just wondering, in the mood around the training facility, the mood around the locker room, has that changed a little bit? Is there a little bit more? I don't know. Is there just a little bit less? I guess bad mood around.
From the day I started here, I didn't sense bad mood. The group has a strong togetherness. They have a real workmanlike mentality. I think that shows by, again, players stepping up when their number is called. And I think there's a real good energy in this group that set out weeks ago that they wanted to achieve the playoffs, and they have a real possibility of achieving that, and that, and there's no greater satisfaction than having just this belief that we can do it, and what keeps us together is the belief that we can do it together, and I think that's really bonded this group, and it's brought, they were already close, and it's only brought them closer as sort of crunch time gets closer, and that's what we're going to rely on here is our intensity and our togetherness to make a final push.
Go ahead, Valer.
Yeah, and just on Jacob Schaffelberg, he's been listed in the injury report the last few games, so I was just curious what was happening there, and will he return this upcoming match? Yeah,
so what was happening is Jacob obviously had, the birth of his child, and then as he had come back from Canada with what we deemed as a minor groin injury, that part of his return to training, he was on the field training, he sort of had a minor setback with that. He is available for selection for Saturday. So we think we're sort of through that piece where we now have available for selection with him.
Jacob on Zoom.
Yeah, BJ, I guess going into another stretch of 3 games in about 1 week, I guess how are you treating this stretch kind of similarly to the way you did the most recent 3-game stretch coming out of the international break? And I guess are there any differences in the way you're approaching it?
No, we're going to approach it the same way. We're going to put the best lineup against New England. We'll analyze the result, and then we'll take a temperature of the group after that, and then we'll try to put the next best. We'll put the next best group that we can versus DC United. So that's exactly how we sort of approached it. I know it sounds cliche, 1 game at a time, but it truly is when you're at this point in the season. We're going to put our best lineup out there that we feel it can get us a 3-point result in New England, and then from that point forward, we'll evaluate afterwards.
And Jacob, go ahead with the last question.
Yeah, and I guess what do you think are the biggest things you think you can take away from the first game against New England during the Leagues Cup, being that the Revolution are the first team that you'll coach against twice with Nashville, I believe. Does that make this game a good test for just the progress of this group?
Sure, yeah, I mean, we want to obviously be able to show that we've improved. And this is, we talk about this as a continual process. It takes a time, but, we are always looking to take little steps forward. We obviously now have a body of work that we can analyze versus a common opponent, and so that helps us, I think, in our preparation, sort of what we thought went well, what are the areas that we need to improve, and but they're also a team that's going to have a different lineup, that we then played versus them in the Leagues Cup. So it's not really what I would say an apples to apples comparison. I'd like to think that we're a different team, a team that's improved, and they're going to have a different team that's, probably has different players that they've gotten back from injury from the last time we were there. So, I think there's some little things that we can take from, but we know what type of match this is going to be, and it's one that we have to be well prepared and really focused on. Well, really focused on our standard of play to get a result.
Thanks so much, Coach. Thank you, guys. We'll see you in New England.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. New England.
I think my experience so far here in Nashville has been pretty great. I mean, obviously we had some ups and downs since I came here, but I think the team right now has been, obviously in good form, and we're very motivated right now to make the playoffs. And I think this weekend we have a very good opportunity to obviously continue to do the things that we're working on, and also a great opportunity to make the playoffs. So I think the experience has been pretty good and settling pretty well.
Great, thank you. We'll go ahead and start with questions. Ben, go ahead.
Yeah, Jonny, you kind of talked about how you guys are trying to make the playoffs. Obviously, a lot of work has been going on behind the scenes, but do you feel like once you start kind of piling up a couple wins on top of each other, it feels not easier, but just like you're seeing results, and so the process becomes maybe a little bit easier?
Yeah, I think obviously winning makes everything a lot easier, but also we've been working very hard to make it possible, and I think obviously these wins obviously motivate all of us, and motivate even more that we have a chance to play the playoffs. So I think obviously these wins, and especially we played against a team that's very high in the table, and I think that really shows where we're at right now, that we're able to compete. And also, if we want to make the playoffs, we are going to be playing against teams like Cincinnati. So I think it really shows like where we're at and what we can do against those top teams, obviously. And I think that really says a lot of the things that we've been working on and the style of play that BJ wants us to work. So I think these wins and also playing against Cincinnati is really showing us where we're at and what we can do.
Go ahead, man, if you have one.
Yeah, and then obviously BJ's come in and trying to be a little bit more forward-thinking and play with the ball a little bit more. I'm just curious from your perspective. Obviously, you're an attacker and you like to have the ball.
Yeah.
What has that been like for you, kind of coming in as that has been getting started? Just how's that adaptation been?
I think I'm already used to the system that BJ's trying to implement on this team of keeping the ball, being a more possession-oriented team. I think I've been coming from a system like that, obviously with Galaxy. I think it's the same type of system that BJ's trying to get to. So it's not nothing new for me, but I think every game we're seeing a little bit more, and it's getting a lot better with the team of being more possession team oriented. And I think every game after each game we're just gonna keep getting better at it.
Claudio?
Jonny, playing on the right like you did in the last game starting, is that something you've done before? I mean, how comfortable were you? Looks like you were because of that cross that you made for the first goal, crossing that ball with the right. I mean, we know you're left-footed.
Yeah.
How was the experience on the game?
I think obviously I feel a lot more comfortable playing on the right side because I'm able to come inside, and that's what I usually like to do, coming inside and play in the middle. And obviously when I go inside, I'm obviously on my left, so I feel like I'm able to do more things playing on the right side. And also I like to use my right foot as well, I'm not afraid to use it, and also I work on my right foot because I know in the game I'm going to be in situations where I'm going to have to use my right foot. So things like in the game, the crossing with my weak foot, I think it's something that I also work on because I know in the game it's going to happen. And also I think it's something that can also help me and just make me look like a different player that I'm able to use both feet.
Now, of course, we know a little of your game because we're just getting here, you know. But it seems like BJ is asking you to do stuff that maybe you were not used to do. I'm talking about defending more than maybe you were used to that. Is that something you're enjoying? Is it being difficult for you? How do you like that part?
I think since I came here, defensively on the weekend, I was playing like a 9. So it was new to me, obviously from like a winger, the pressing is just different, and I think it's just me to adapt, and obviously BJ and the coaching staff have been working on me with that, and obviously showing me what I can do. But I think it's obviously new playing a different position defensively, but I think that the more I play, the more I'll understand, and the more experience I get, I think I'll be getting a lot better on that side defensively.
We'll go to questions on the Zoom, starting with Blair.
Hey, Jonathan. 2 of the games you played were at home, and obviously the one away. You were able to get results in all 3 of them, but I'm just curious from you, being a new player, does it really make a difference whether you're at home or away?
I think for us, well, from my personal standpoint, I think going away it's a little bit difficult, obviously with the travel and all that, and also obviously when we're at home, we don't want anyone to beat us at home. So I think it's just that mentality that when you're at home, you know, nobody wants to lose at home in front of all your fans and in front of everyone else, you know, all your family. So I think playing away is just always a little difficult to go and get a win.
Go ahead, Valera, if you have another.
Yeah, and obviously you're here on loan, so I'm just curious for you personally, are you wanting to stay in Nashville, or is this just kind of a stop in a way?
As of right now, I really don't have an answer for that. So right now, I'm just doing my best, and my main focus right now is just trying to make the playoffs with Nashville.
Go to Jacob Shames on the Zoom.
Yeah, Jonathan, you know, I'm just wondering, what's it been like for you going from a club like the Galaxy at, you know, the top of their conference to a team fighting for a playoff spot like Nashville? I guess how big of an adjustment has that been for you to make?
Obviously, it's you know, the Galaxy has been in very great form. You know, they're on top in their table, but what Nashville was going through, we also went through it last year. So you can say that I was somewhat experienced this because last year we with the Galaxy we also went through you know, it wasn't a great season for us, and we were doing what Nashville was trying to do. We were trying to do last year, trying to make the playoffs. You know, just get in that form again, and I just think that here in Nashville we're a lot closer to making playoffs than we were last year with Galaxy.
And Jacob, go ahead if you have another.
Yeah, and you know, you made your first start with Nashville on Saturday. You featured in almost every game since you joined the team. You know, you've played over 30 minutes, I think, in 4 of the last 5 games for Nashville. I guess what's that done just for your growth and development as a young player to get kind of consistent run in MLS really for maybe the first time in your career?
I think the opportunities that I've been getting, I've been doing my best to make the most out of it, and especially last weekend with the Star, I think. I mean, it really shows with BJ is showing the confidence that he has in me and willing to give me the opportunity to start me, and I just think that's what I want, and that's something that this is the opportunities I was pretty much looking for, and I think with these opportunities I'm just going to continue growing as a player.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks, guys. We'll be back shortly.